Cool. Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to talk about bad training centers. So I've came in to China and I work for a kindergarten, which is alright. It has its problems, it has its ups, it has its downs, but overall I would say it's a positive experience. But I don't want to work there because, I want to move on to a college and have college teaching experience. So so that's that. But what a lot of teachers do here in China is they go to training centers and they work there to make a little bit of extra money by teaching on the side. It's something that's quite common, and it's something that if you come to China you might face. But there are good training centers out there and there's bad training centers. A good training center, for example, will have an assistant, and the assistant will have your back to some degree. They're also going to, make sure that you're doing your job, but you should also make sure that they're doing their job. Their job is kind of to be a bouncer. You want them to stop kids who are misbehaving and acting out of control, so that way you can get the most effective and best English lesson to be taught to these kids. However, the real world comes in and not everything is as it should be. So there's one place I go to. It's about 30 minutes away, and they pay for your DD, which is really, really nice. DD is your cab slash Uber in China. So you go there and I think, wow, this is really, really nice. It looks nice. They're paying for the cab. The pay is kind of so-so. It's a 30-minute drive, kind of long, but maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be okay. So then I go in and they don't know where I'm supposed to be teaching. So they're like, hey, you should go up to the third floor and teach in the third floor classroom, which is pretty bare bones and just a projector. I go in and they're like, oh, actually on the second floor. Same thing, same sort of classroom, bare bones, nothing but a projector. Then third floor, second floor, third floor, second floor. And I went up I went up and down those stairs like 2, 3, maybe 4 times. I'm not sure. But by that point I realized, ooh, this place is pretty disorganized. That's not good. And so they're like, oh yeah, we have all the material and stuff prepared for you. And so when I get there, it's one song. It's a 3-minute song. And like, yeah, make this 3-minute song, head, shoulders, knees, and toes last. So I'm like, okay, I'll do my very, very, very best. And so I did head, shoulders, knees, and toes, a classic of teaching English. I used some flashcards, played some games with them, played I'm the King, had them all touch the flashcards, say the words, then play rock, scissors, paper with each other. And that went well. However, it did not fill an hour. So what I did is I took out my laptop and I was like, well, these kids are getting really, really bored of head, shoulders, knees, and toes. It was about halfway through, and I used my laptop, and the people were freaking out. The co-teachers were just freaking out. One went in, one out of the classroom, the other went in, another one out, another one in. And so about 3 times I switched co-teachers, and it just stopped and killed the lesson. And it's been like this a few times since I've been teaching there as well, where nobody seems to know what's going on. I'm looking at the kids like, what the hell is going on? And these little 3 or 4-year-olds are looking at me like, what the hell is going on? And even if a 3 or 4-year-old can tell that something is wrong, then there's like obviously wrong, then you're probably messing up in your school somewhere, right? Right. And so my problem with it is they have no curriculum. Their curriculum is like, oh, here's this song. They have no objectives of what they want the kids to learn. Oh, like just, make sure they listen to the song. It's like, okay, can't they just buy a CD and do that in their own free time? Like, what makes you different than a CD that's $10? Why should people pay so much money to go to your training center when they can just spend $10 on a CD and get more songs and listen to it multiple times and get more value out of it? There isn't, and I think it's a huge, huge problem. And these sort of training centers exist where they just have no plan, no objective. And I thought, this is a problem. I'm going to try to talk to the manager about this. So after some classes, I sat down with her and I was like, yeah, you need more material. And I said it in a very, very nice way. I was like, oh, I don't think one video is enough time to fill an entire hour. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, what do you think we should do? And I pulled out some graded readers, which are books for, a targeted level of English that can go all the way from the very, very beginning stages of English of kids to adults at a very, very advanced level. And free voluntary reading is essential in any sort of learning environment, whether it's first language or second language, because you acquire more vocabulary and you become more interested in the culture. And she was like, "Oh wow, wow, wow! Those are really, really cool. Can you give all of those to me?" I was like, "Oh no, no. These are my materials. You need to kind of have some sort of plan, some sort of idea of what you're going to do." And so she was like, "Well, what do you think we should do?" And I said, I explained the graded readers. I explained that kids need some colorful stuff. And I gave an outline of what pretty much works for teaching kids: games, songs, colorful things, some books and stuff they can choose that the teachers read to them, and maybe a coloring exercise or something like the Oxford Junior workbooks. Those are really great, and I recommend those if you haven't checked them out for teaching to young learners. And she's like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that would be really great. So why don't you every week find all of the materials and stuff and you send them to us, and then we'll print them out and then you can use them." So then I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this week after week after week after week after week after week after week, doesn't that mean you want me to make a curriculum for you? And I didn't say that because I think it would be pretty rude. At least, yeah, from my perspective, I'd consider that pretty rude to ask you to say that sort of snark to your boss. And so I thought, well, maybe I can ask for a raise. If I ask for a raise, then maybe I'll be willing to do that. So I asked for a 50 kwai raise from 250 RMB to 300 RMB. And she's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. We don't really have that in the budget. We're a big corporation who's making a lot of extra money, but we really, really don't have that in the budget. And we have other teachers who are getting paid more than you, who've worked less years than you, but it's not really in the budget." So she's just doing the same thing that a lot of training centers are doing, which is trying to save money, right? Right. And so I didn't really say anything. I was like, okay. So essentially, you want me to work more time when I'm already working for essentially 125 RMB an hour, if you consider the 30-minute commute there, 30-minute commute back. And you want me to do your job? Like, that's not my job. My job is to teach the classes. My job is not to do your job to determine what the kids should be learning at a particular level and what their monthly objectives should be. And yet this lady was asking me to do that. This is the same training center where three co-teachers went in and out, in and out, in and out, and they just let the kids run around, act crazy, slam their hands on the wall, and just kind of do whatever they want. So I'm being the bouncer, and I'm also being the teacher. And it's just too much work. It's too much of a headache, and it's just not really worth it. So if you're ever in these sort of situations, just get out. Leave these sort of training centers because they don't control you. They don't have your visa in the vice grip. And because of that, just walk away. Walk away and demand something better. Demand something where your co-teachers are stopping crazy kids. Demand something where, you're having a curriculum. It doesn't have to be the best curriculum, a curriculum where the kids are at least getting some sort of improvement, so that way you're not wasting their time and you're not wasting your time because you're actually doing something and contributing towards, their education. And I think definitely do that because it hurts the profession. It hurts the English teaching profession to allow people to essentially rip off some kids, some families, by just tossing a song at them every single week, when you should demand more, students should demand more, parents should demand more, and most importantly, the training centers should demand more of themselves. Anyway, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you don't like it, don't give it a dislike, but give some comments below, and please keep them friendly. Okay, that's all. Bye.